Hey there, welcome to the show. It's Les Solgrove. This is Sunday, April 27th, 2025. We are week 17 into the Des Moines real estate market. And this week is a little different show than normal. I hope you don't look at me as or think of this show as me nagging on you or chastising you guys. But here's the deal. Data is only as good as the input that we put into the MLS. And I talk about this usually at the year-end show and throughout the year at a couple times. But I'm going to focus this entire show about how we can do better in the MLS. And so let's jump in here. And first of all, before we get into that, let's take a quick look at the weekly dashboard. You can see that our inventory is continuing to rise. We're still 20+% over last year at 3,718 homes on the market. The new listings this past week were up again. The week previous, we had Easter weekend, so we saw a lower listing count and quite a bit lower pending sale count that week. And then, of course, now here we are about 2 or 3 days away from the end of the month, so we're going to have quite a bit of closed sales coming on the books as of next weekend. We're currently sitting, if you see right over here on the right-hand middle side, you see that we're currently at 3,444 homes currently closed year to date. I don't know if we're going to close 600 in the next 3 days, but we're going to probably within the next week or so, this next week, or maybe week to 10 days, we will hit that 4,000 closed sale mark. And we're doing that at a faster pace than last year, so that's a good sign. And pricing is somewhat stabilizing a little bit. Again, the median list price of all homes overall is down almost 3% from last year, which is not a huge number, but again, that's a good entry for the home buyers out there looking to think that maybe prices aren't going to take them out of the marketplace. So as always, be sure and subscribe to the show. And I remember now this week, again, I forgot to update the subscriber count. So we're still showing at 880. I think we're close to 890. And I promise I'll update that next week there as well. But thank you all for subscribing. Go to DesMoinesMarketValues.com or simply hold your phone up to that QR code there in the lower left-hand side, and that will take you to the YouTube channel. I would really, really love to get to 1,000 subscribers if we can here very, very soon. So, all right, with that. All right, so the topic again is data is only as good as the input. And so here's an example. I'm going to show you. This is all homes for sale. And you wonder maybe why I have been focusing on all homes as opposed to breaking it down by single family, existing homes, new construction, and the condos. It's predominantly because a lot of the data out there is mistagged in the MLS system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. Now, the overall homes for sale, that number is accurate and correct because it takes into account all of the categories. But once you start to drag it down just a little bit and say, for example, what the new construction is or what the existing home sales are, that's where it gets different. So your big question is, well, geez, Les, what's the big deal? Why do we have to worry so much about that? Well, you've heard that old adage, garbage truck in or garbage in, garbage out. Well, here we go. We got garbage coming into the MLS, and by garbage, I mean we have wrong or bad data. And without correcting it when it comes in, it comes right back out and it doesn't show up properly. So I do try to watch this every week before the weekend and turn in some incorrect data. But this weekend I didn't do that, and so I guess we're just going to show you kind of what the issues can be here. So this is an example. This is all single family and condo townhome listings. So you saw we had so many homes on the market in the dashboard, and this number 2388 represents all of the existing home inventory, no new construction. Okay, it's supposed to be no new construction. In fact, you can see right down here in the criteria, it's residential, it's active, and it's not one of new or proposed. But there are homes in this list that are new construction. So the things I want to point out here is the current median list price over here and the days on market. Those are kind of the two big stats, as well as maybe square footage. So if we look at the listings, I did a search this morning, and there are 42 homes in the MLS of that 2388 that are new construction, single family, and condo townhome. And you go, again, what's the big deal? Well, number one, look at the median list price of just those 42 homes. They're 432.5, where we're at 318,950. Now, does that make a huge difference in the graph in the data as far as pricing goes? No, because I'm pulling median data, which means I take the middle point and I say everything above this amount or below this amount is the halfway point. And so at 432.5, that number probably doesn't affect the median list price, especially when it's compared to 2,388, or well, 42 minus that. But the days on market will sure affect that. The fact that these 42 homes are predominantly homes that came on the market within the last in the last week or so, probably the last 2 weeks, because I didn't check it last week either. You can see that the median days on market for those 42 homes is 12 days. So that's about right. That's just under 14 days. And the median days on market for the existing homes is 32. Well, when you start to get a lot of sales and listings, especially in the spring market where the number is much lower, that can artificially lower what we consider the days on market. And that's a big number that we're trying to really track this year to find out, is days on market faster or slower than previous years? And we use that a lot in our market analysis information. And so do the appraisers, actually. That's another area that, that's kind of the big deal as well. Square footage, again, new construction is a little bit larger home. 1,604 was the median square footage for those 42 homes. And they were priced anywhere from 309.5 up to 860,000. So it's across the whole board there that it's affecting that. So I just can't stress enough how that's a very, very important thing to track. So let's try to take a look here and see exactly maybe where it does show up when we're looking at just existing homes for sale. Existing homes for sale currently is 1,913. Again, this is before we take out that 42. So we're really 42 homes under that 1,913 number. And we're showing that we are ahead of last year with a number of homes for sale. Now, we'd still be ahead of homes for sale based on what I'm showing from last year's data, but it wouldn't be as much. And you think, well, that's not a big deal. But when you look at it on the flip side here at the new construction homes, we're almost behind. We're just behind last year's numbers the last 2 or 3 weeks. And this could be a factor here. We again try to builders look at these numbers to plan on whether they want to add new properties to the listings and maybe start a new development. And they look at the months of inventory and the amount of homes that are currently for sale versus maybe what are going under contract. And so this is kind of an important number for them. And when we have false data, this is what we're kind of giving them the false sense of security and maybe costing some money when they're out there trying to base their decisions on whether to open a new development or not. So as far as pending sales, existing home pending sales, we're pretty much right on track with last year. We're at the year-to-date high from last year, just like we were at this time last year as well in week 17 with 1,543 homes. But again, 42, we don't know how many may be out there because I really don't search pendings. I'm trying to catch them before they go into pending. But there is a possibility that there are pending sales out there as well that are in the new construction that should be in that category, but are showing up in existing home sales. So if you see this number, looking at that, we're just right on track with last year. We most likely are not. We're probably behind last year. And you can see that the new construction pendings are much, much farther behind. And if we had those properly categorized, then these numbers would also be higher. So again, using this for market analysis work or appraisal work or just trying to get a feel for the marketplace, this information is coming in incorrect. And I can only report what the MLS shows us. So again, it's that old data is only as good as the input. Looking at median sale prices, here's the existing median sale price. We're just above where we were last year, 274.9. And of course, you remember in the first slide of where I had all the data there in the dashboard, we were, median list price was actually lowering a little bit. Well, how much more lower would it be if we had the new construction out of there? So median sale prices are going to trail all the way down to this data as well. New construction is just above the point where we were last year And that's a pretty good trend because builders want to make sure that, as they're building, the properties they have out there are not underpriced or priced out of the price points. And so not having the correct data, especially in sale prices, again, this is where it becomes an issue. The last example here is months of inventory. Existing homes are predominantly always in the seller's market in the last several years, throughout the early January, February, all the way through to about November, December. So you see, we probably will be in the seller's market in the yellow there all the way throughout most of the year. But if you look at the new construction, they're struggling to get down into, whether they're going to get up down into seller's market or remain in a balanced market. And right now, they're right in the midst of a balanced market with 4.9 months of inventory. That's right dead center of that 4 to 6 month category. So could this make a difference in that as well? It certainly could. So, all right, so how can you help? This is the plea. This is what I'm going to ask you guys all to do this week. If you're an agent representing a builder, or just an agent out there, review all of your active, pending, and sold properties. I want you to look at all three of your categories that you have out there, active, pending, and solds, especially within the last year, or at least this year to date for the solds, and make sure that if it's a new construction property that you've got the property tagged as new or proposed. And I've got a screenshot here at the end. I'll show you what to look for here. Please verify, again, that they're in that new construction category. It's just crucial that you do that. And if you happen to be an agent that's not representing a builder, but you see a new construction property in your existing home search, use that MLS reporting tool. You know where that is. That's at the bottom of every single listing. It's a hyperlink. It says report data error to MLS administrator. Turn that in. You're not putting yourself at risk to make somebody mad. It just simply reports to the MLS coordinators at DMAR. And your name is never shared with the listing agent or anybody. Just go in there and verify, turn it in. Say, hey, this one is new construction, and it's in the existing home categories or the resale properties. And can you fix that? And I can tell you that DMAR is very, very good about fixing stuff like this as soon as they find it. But they don't have the time, just like you and I don't have the time necessarily to go through and look at every single listing. So. Do your part and help us police this information. So you say, well, geez, what's the big deal? What, 1 or 2 listings or 40 listings? What's that? It's not a big deal. Well, it is. We've talked about that. And here's one of the big reasons why. If you're an agent representing a builder, your listings are not going to appear in new construction home searches. And I guarantee you that your builder is not going to be happy when they've hired you to sell their properties, and all of a sudden these homes that they're trying to sell are not showing up in a new construction home search. Don't play the system. I've heard agents say, well, I put a couple in the existing homes just so that they do see them. That's not right. That's false advertising. It's not correct, and you're playing the system, and you could be in line for a violation if you knowingly do that. So if you're representing a buyer and here's a big deal here. If you represent a buyer and you've all done this, you schedule a showing on what you think it is an existing home. You drive out there with your clients and you arrive at the property, only find an empty lot or a home that's currently under midway through construction, but yet the photo on the front shows the house is fully constructed and it's got interior photos and everything. What does that do to your credibility as the buying agent out there and also the selling listing agent? So, the last thing here, and I kind of alluded to this a second ago, this is a potential violation of NAR Code of Ethics Article 2, which basically states that realtors shall avoid exaggeration, misrepresentation, or concealment of pertinent facts relating to a property. If you knowingly put a property in new construction and you put it in as a single-family resale property, you could be in violation of this Article 2. You are not providing a true picture. Last thing here is it's very, very simple. What do you do to fix this? When you're in data input, and I've got a data input screen here just to show you, down here on the General tab, it's General tab, and down here near the bottom of the General tab is this option to select new or proposed. It's very simple. When you list new construction property, please come down here and choose new or proposed. Don't just let that default as blank. Blank is existing. So when you leave that as a blank, your property comes into the MLS as an existing property. And I would love to see DMAR make this a mandatory field that you have to click by to go through this, because there's no reason that you should be out there listing properties and just ignoring this. And this is your data entry people. Maybe you're not trained right. Maybe they don't know. Maybe the agents don't know. Maybe you're just trying to get this listing in quickly and you miss this. So it's very, very important that, it's very, very simple. And it's very, very important that we provide all of our membership with good data. So, all right, well, that's me. I'm kind of the raggy guy today. So thanks for watching. Please do me one last favor, not share, not subscribe to the channel. I want you to send this video, a link to this video, to all agents that you know that represent builders. And maybe even if you do represent builders, have your builders watch this video, because I think it's really, really crucial and important that you guys do what you really can each week to get the proper data into the MLS. So that's it. No more finger wagging here. This is Les Solgrove, Simply Des Moines Market Values, and we'll see you all again next week with a month-end report. Thanks for joining me.